Hey guys, and welcome to the TCC podcast, where we discuss everything coffee.
Well, good morning, afternoon, evening, or if you are
Midnight.
by what did they call it? Star date time. I have no idea what time it is. So if you're a Star Trek geek, then you could tell us. But welcome to this episode of the TCC podcast. Listen, you're gonna hear some swifts in the background, and that'll be because today we are, even though they're not blue, we're having a coffee from Bluebird Coffee Roastery. So if you wanted to bring the coffee into the environment today, we're gonna have some birds with the Bluebird coffee.
Mr. Pedantic.
Wow.
No, that's just some creative.
How the heck
play.
did that just fit into all of this?
He's good with that.
Because we're like, well, the birds, they might be a bit annoying, and then he goes, it's bluebirds, man.
Yes, man, it's a Bluebird coffee. We're bringing that beautiful singing into this episode. So
I like it. So we're straight into the coffee at hand.
yes,
Again, one of my favorite varieties in the world.
Caturra.
Caturra.
And this in a natural process.
Yes, natural process, grown in Costa Rica in the West Valley.
Yes.
At 16 to 1700 meters above sea level at the FCJ Vulcan Azul processes. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Yes.
Mr. Pedantic, maybe help me a bit with the Vulcan Azul, I think.
Might be. I have absolutely no idea.
Great.
Awesome.
So that's a guess from my
So
from my
Jose
part.
will help us again because this is from Costa Rica, so I believe they speak Spanish. over
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
so-
they do speak Spanish there as well.
Okay, thank you,
I don't think it's
Jose.
their local language, but it definitely is a language that they would speak
Ooh.
locally.
And you got some beautiful berry acidity out of this.
Yes, it went through a V60, 1:12 ratio,
Yes.
and I went about 5 clicks finer. So this is an 11 grind on my V60.
Yes.
I went a lot finer because I wanted to get a lot more sweetness and that spunky, funky acidity on the side of the tongue. Obviously hoping to get a lot of red berries.
Just out of curiosity, what was your estimated water temperature that you used?
Water temperature was 88 degrees Celsius, but I started the bloom and then my wife pulled me away from my pour because of some technical issue for a whole 40 seconds. So I bloomed 30 seconds longer than I usually would have.
Okay. Because I would have suggested on this coffee going 2 or 3 degrees Celsius hotter.
Yes, but being that high, that would have taken me into boil.
No, and I know, but then I would have gone 3 clicks coarser, but I'd rather go higher on the tank. I wanted to release a little bit more of the sugars, a little bit more of that
True.
acidity element. But that's obviously a personal preference.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm only
Which is
tasting
why I
it after
enjoy
it's
your
been-
coffee when you make it.
Yeah.
So while you're speaking about temperatures, let's go to our topic at hand today.
What does that have to do with anything?
Extra hot cappuccinos.
On your board at your shop,
Oh yes, you're right.
it says cappuccinos goes out on 65 degrees
And not 100 degrees.
So
Yeah.
that's why I said.
No, so that's very, you know what, that's a very valid
unique
point.
statement on a very interesting subject.
Yeah.
Yes, and the subject today I think is going to be a very interesting one, especially because people for some reason, even if they are milk drinkers in coffee, they don't understand the difference.
No.
And we'll be talking about the flat white cappuccinos and cafe lattes.
Or like I like to call them caps, flaps, and lattes.
Which,
Yeah, or that.
which just slaps difference. The caps and flaps, they slap.
Caps, flaps, slaps on lattes, yes.
There we go.
Uh,
Interesting.
And I think this is a very cool topic because when we met one another, well, when you guys met and when we met, I liked a cappuccino and what was supposedly a flat white,
Yeah.
which was not a flat white.
Yeah.
No,
When
not
you
exactly.
guys met,
Yeah,
you quite enjoyed
Yeah,
milk.
I was a flat white drinker.
But
I'm not-
also mostly assumed flat whites.
yeah.
Yes.
It was espresso, not double
Yes.
espresso. So.
And they would do single espresso sometimes in a cup, and then I'm like, just because you put less foam does not make it a flat white.
Yeah, you're just taking it to a whole different level of latte.
And
yeah,
then-
because then it's not stronger, it's actually weaker.
And then there's an interesting cafe. I'm not gonna name names, but when they do a flat white, they like scoop foam
The foam,
out of,
yeah.
and then so you get like a small coffee with the half of the cup is full of foam.
Almost like a dry latte
yeah,
type of style.
something like that.
Which, okay.
But in any case, yeah, so-
I don't obviously always know where people get their ratios on milk beverages from.
Yeah.
I learned from someone that I really respect a lot, and apparently he's been in the countries where it was designed often. He
Yeah.
actually lives there now, and so he taught me the traditional flat white, and it tasted phenomenal, number one. Number two, when people wanted something stronger than a cappuccino, it completely came to the table.
Yeah.
And now people love it so much, if I have to change it now, they'll make me change it back.
Oh, for
Yeah,
a fact.
definitely, yeah.
Especially the people that we've really spent some time with regarding every time they walk in, they order an extra strong cappuccino.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we say, listen,
Just go for a flatty.
trust me,
Flatty.
you know what? I'll make you a cappuccino with 2 shots, and then I'll make you a flat white.
Oh, it doesn't compare,
And
eh?
You can pay for the one you like.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll take the other one on me.
And 9 out of 10 times, unless it's somebody extremely stubborn,
There's a lot of them in South Africa.
and if you're South
think in the
African,
world.
yeah, I think it's just in general. If you have an X or a Y chromosome, you're born stubborn. And sometimes when you have both, it's even worse.
Yeah.
But we could say that we have them both. But
Proper.
proper. But and then 9 out of 10 times people go for the traditional flat white. They like the flavor. It makes a difference.
It does.
To such a degree that they're willing to pay 64 rand a cup of coffee just because they want it in a big cup, which means I need to make 2 flat whites
In one
in a
cup.
cup.
In a cup.
And they're willing
Take
to
away
pay.
cup.
Yeah.
And they pay with a smile.
And the thing is with that is it's because they like it. You've shown them a new way of drinking coffee.
Yeah.
What they like, and they just like, I want it in a big cup and I'll pay for it. It doesn't matter because I like it.
And it's value for money.
yeah.
I mean, I don't
Definitely,
mind
yeah.
paying for whatever I want at the price that obviously I'm willing to go for what I get.
Yes.
As long as it gives me value for my money, I'll go for it.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, we have people that come in and order two traditional cortados in one cup.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
Just because they love that flavor so much, but they don't want to be finished before they get to the car.
Yes. And
They
we've
want
now,
it in a big size.
yeah,
Yes.
we've now taken to calling it a double cortado, meaning that we're doing the recipe
Twice.
double. So
Yeah.
we're doing it twice. So
Yeah.
not then saying you get a single shot or a double shot.
Or just run the shot longer.
Yes, not the same.
Man, that's
And I
bad.
think
Any
we
case.
kind of needed to get into this space where we just define the difference and explain why there is a difference. Because what we're actually talking about is red velvet cake, chocolate cake, and carrot cake.
Yeah.
And we're trying to make a carrot cake taste like chocolate and making a red velvet try to taste like carrot cake. And
Which
it's
is not
working.
possible.
Nope.
Yeah.
Unless you want some very interesting other unhappy clients or you have some serious messed up ingredients. But
Well,
it's gonna be
making
very
a velvet
difficult.
just look like a carrot cake is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to
Gonna
be
be
very, very
Yeah,
serious.
it's gonna be
Because
interesting.
that color is not going to come your way.
and it's-
velvet is a reason it's called velvet.
The thing is, I think it's a nice comparison when you compare the cakes versus the coffee, because the coffee, it's like it's all coffee.
Yes,
It's,
that's what people think.
It's and the thing is when you describe it like that, people will start putting the pictures together and
they do.
realizing that a flat white is different from a cappuccino, which is different from a cafe latte.
Right.
And the thing is, people don't know what cafe lattes is, because some places give you a cafe latte, then it's actually a big milk jug with a little bit of coffee flavor.
That they already
Which-
mixed inside.
Which is already the full espresso or
Yeah.
whatever they put in.
Like you
is-
decide how much coffee flavor I want in my milk.
And
How about I just decide myself?
and there's so many people that don't understand when the espresso comes from on the side from the milk. They're like, but why don't you put it in? And
Yes.
it's because that's not that. This is how a latte is supposed to be. You add the flavor or the espresso,
Depending on how much you want. Yeah.
on the taste that you like. So if you add the whole espresso, like Tian always says, then drink a cappuccino.
Yeah, just go for the cap.
Yeah, and then you give
So-
my barista the opportunity to actually practice latte art, which also the term makes no sense, because if I don't mix the espresso, there's no art on top. It should be cappuccino art.
Well, I would agree with. Now, I know that there is some historical story where I think
break some
America
brains out, so
actually
I'll do
changed it, changing it from a cafe latte, you know, the coffee with the latte or the art on top, obviously going into latte art. They actually, how accurate this is, guys, don't hold me to this, but apparently at one point the cappuccino used to be the cafe latte, and the cafe latte had latte art, which, when I think about it, makes no sense, because the historical, and we'll do full episodes on the history of cappuccino and obviously on the cafe latte, but I mean the capo, like the chef's hat on a small cup, cappuccino, or of course the bishops with their robes having the that brownish color of a cappuccino. We'll do all of that, so I'm not going to go into it now, but like when I hear that story now, I'm like, I don't think that was very accurate. But yes, latte art on a cappuccino should be cappuccino art. I agree.
Yes.
Because latte is only milk.
Right, it's just the
It's-
Italian
it's-
word for milk, and I think that's probably
Right.
also one of the reasons why very few people actually know what they're asking for.
Because they
It's
don't know
because
what it
we don't
means.
speak Italian. Like if you're an Italian speaker, or if you're Italian and you're watching this, hello, or ciao. I would say, you know, you guys walk into a shop and you go uno espresso, and you know you want a pressed coffee, or you know, uno cafe latte, I want one coffee flavored milk. Like, you know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But in South Africa and in the rest of the world, we don't really know. We thought it's a name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it actually meant something years ago.
You didn't know you're speaking foreign.
Yeah,
I-
I was speaking
and-
foreign very deliciously.
I can guarantee you that there are Afrikaans people that don't want to order a cafe latte, but they want to order a latte coffee, because they want a lot of coffee.
yes.
And they think that the cafe latte means that it's a latte coffee, eh?
It's a big
a
cup.
lot of coffee. And it's just not the case. And the moment we explain to
That's
someone,
Well, you could make it a lot of coffee.
you know, no, and a lot of milk, but and it's very interesting because cafe latte, and we've kind of gotten to the place, and that's how, and I see this,
My
That's
goodness.
fine.
And
I
that's
like my
how-
coffee. You
how
don't
we
have to
see
share,
how
but
quickly-
it's nice if you share.
yeah,
Sorry
How-
about that.
how quickly people become lazy. Right? We
Yes.
don't
Yeah.
speak about a cafe latte. Very few people actually do, and the people who do, you know, those people are the ones that ask you, please serve the espresso on the side. And then I
Yes.
tell them, okay, but that is a cafe latte.
Yeah.
So you know what? I get that you guys are specialty, but at every other place
Yeah.
I have to fight with them because they add it.
They make it too strong. Yes, they want milk with just a coffee flavor inside.
Yeah,
Yes.
So they add as they go. They taste how strong they want the coffee flavor to come out of.
Exactly.
And
So
whereas other people order it as well, but they order 4 shots. And I actually respected this from a client, because she ordered a cafe latte. She wanted a big cup, so she orders a double, which is how we kind of then explained size. Obviously,
Right.
single would be a smaller cup, double would be a big cup.
Yeah. Small,
And then-
small piece of chocolate, big piece of
Yes.
chocolate.
And she then fights with the waiters and said, no, but I wanted a double shot. What she actually meant was she wants 2
Double,
extractions of
yes.
espresso. She wants 2 double shots. And so I said, okay, but listen, why not order a flat white? So okay, but that comes in a small cup, and you don't
She
get
wants
something
fats.
like a double flat white, okay?
get a big.
And then also without me asking, makes a statement, but I also not going to order a 4-shot cappuccino, because then that's not a cappuccino, because a cappuccino is a recipe. So a client who understands what she likes,
Right.
so she orders an extra double espresso with the cafe latte, because she wants the intense coffee flavor.
Exactly. But in a very, very big cup.
Then saying to her, okay, but can I offer to make you a flat white, just to taste it? You don't have to pay for it. I just want to see where your palate's at, and if I can give you something that you can enjoy more. Give her the flat white, and immediately those eyes goes like
into a dream world.
That's what I've been looking for.
Exactly.
I didn't know they serve coffee like this in Pretoria. And
I
they
mean,
say,
what a response!
no, but also then going,
That's
but
phenomenal.
how do I get this in that cup? So you know what? You're right. There's no such thing as a double flat white. But I'll do 2
A
extractions
big flat white.
into that cup for you, because I know she wants to enjoy it over a period of time, but she doesn't necessarily want to order twice.
Yeah.
But knowing, and then actually finding how 4 shots of espresso don't balance with that amount of milk.
Yeah.
Correct.
But finding how the ristretto inside the flat white balanced, opening a completely new world. And the most amazing thing about this conversation was the 4 tables around us were listening, and I saw them.
Oh, beautiful.
So they then started having conversations.
See the
and
education,
they started
man.
ordering different coffees,
And
which
that's-
means that now it becomes easy for a barista to
Yeah.
satisfy a client, because they know
Exactly.
what to order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I had exactly the same experience in one of the Planet shops, where a guy comes up and he asks for the same thing. He wants a big cup of coffee, but he wants it really, really strong. So I was like, great. Made him a flat white, tasted it, went nuts. Did exactly the same thing. Did a big flat white.
Yes.
So 2
Yeah.
full perfect shot recipes of flat white poured into the double cup. Tastes it, flips out, goes home, comes back the afternoon shift when I'm not there, orders another one, but times 2 please, because my mother wants one as well. She sent him back from home because she had the last sip of his
Oh, so you had to
big
come-
flat white, that she sent him back to the gym to go and fetch another 2 because it was that good. Now, how easy is it now walking in and going,
Yeah.
can I please have a flat white, but give me a big cup? And the barista knows exactly what you mean.
And
Now, on that note, they're willing to pay for
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
Because it's basically 2 flat whites in 1 cup.
Yes.
And they want it.
That's
because
what they love. It's value
they
for
want
money.
a lot of coffee, but they want the strength of the flat white,
That's it.
or the intensity of the flat
They want to
white.
enjoy it over a period of time,
Yeah.
but not lose that flavor.
Exactly.
And that's
And that's
that's
the value.
And that's just asking people, if they ask for something and you just correct them into the right recipe for what they actually want, and they really taste it and realize that this is what I was looking for.
Yes.
They know now that that's what they want, and that's what they're always going to ask for.
Exactly. And now it's easy for the barista to make it and satisfy their palate every
Yeah,
single time.
because sometimes they come with orders that confuse the barista.
Oh,
Yes.
like that
And-
one lady. We've got a client that walks in. She wants a double shot mocha latte, but not hot chocolate inside, hot chocolate on top.
Okay.
And I was like, there is no such thing. Like, I'm all
Never.
in. I'm all in for creating you
Never.
whatever you want, but I don't know how to charge you on that.
No, there's not even an option like that on my system.
That's what I mean. I'm like, great, let's experiment. I'll create you whatever. But you walk in and you ask my barista while he's trying to make like 40 other people cappuccinos at the same time, or flat whites and caps, and all of a sudden you're asking something crazy like this. What's he going to put onto the system to charge you? He doesn't
Yeah.
have the time to now go and
figure
call
out,
the head
and-
office and go, kind of this client wants something weird.
Yeah.
Like, come to me then in a coffee shop where, you know, my barista's doing his thing and we can experiment and create
Yeah.
you something. Like,
Yeah.
we've got what's that snake drink that the rattlesnake. I think the client comes in, he asks for a rattlesnake macchiato. So he wants a double ristretto with a tad of foamed cream, like pouring cream.
That's interesting.
So I was like, well, let's just give this a new name.
That's interesting.
So I called it the
Okay.
Rattlesnake coffee. But he's the only guy that orders it.
Well, he's never ordered it while I was here. My goodness, I would have chased him
That's-
away. Like, how dare you do that to my coffee?
Well, he likes it, so
Well, it's similar to
and
a
at
piccolo.
least he knows that it's a ristretto.
Yeah.
And he knows what a ristretto
Valid
is.
point, and I respect that.
Look, it's similar to to a piccolo.
It's just a different.
And
My
just
only
a
reference for
bit of a-
Piccolo is Dragon Ball Z, man.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a geek. Get over it.
I like it.
But I think let's get to
Some
a
research.
definition or to just a recipe with regards to. And let's start with the cappuccino. Since
Let's
the cappuccino
define
is
Yeah.
kind of your most commonly enjoyed drink.
Yes.
And for those of you that didn't know, and especially if you're in South Africa, you definitely did not know that a cappuccino is actually supposed to be a breakfast dessert coffee.
Like, so for instance, if you are South African and you listen to this, and you do go to Italy, and you want to ask or order a cappuccino after 11 in the morning,
Yeah, good luck.
I know that they are decent enough to make it for you. But if there's a few words that follow that sounds really, really weird and harsh, it is them swearing at you because you don't order breakfast after 11 in the morning, and especially not a breakfast dessert.
Yeah.
Like, you have a breakfast and you enjoy a breakfast dessert to get rid of the egg and the bacon flavor in your mouth.
Yes.
And you don't do that after breakfast in the
my,
morning.
My wife won't make it in Italy.
Definitely not.
Because
Man.
she eats breakfast in the evenings. So
Well, my brother's like that as well, but he's a type 1 coffee drinker. What you know,
He doesn't
he's just
care.
a special existence in himself.
Well, let's just say that he's South African.
yeah,
South
Yeah, very
Africans,
much.
we serve breakfast all day.
yeah,
yeah.
that's how it
Well,
goes.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So a cappuccino would obviously, and a cappuccino is a recipe.
Yeah.
It's an espresso, single or double, depending on the size that
Of
you're
the
going
cup.
for.
Yeah.
At a 1:4 ratio of coffee to milk with a centimeter of foam, giving you a relatively light, creamy, dessert-like beverage.
Balance between coffee or espresso and milk.
Yeah.
Now,
It's that satisfying feeling that you get when you take a sip.
Yeah.
now to say, if you are a person that enjoys a little bit more kick in a cup,
Oomph.
that's not going to be for you.
Don't go
No.
for the double. It's not going to give you a kick.
Yes, and
It's not.
and unfortunately, we do have those companies that say you can order a quad cappuccino, and then I think, okay, they have a 1.2 liter cup, and then when it comes,
Sure.
It's just a 350 ml cup.
no, it's this size. They just put 4 shots of espresso.
My goodness, there's no
With
balance
a little
in
bit
there.
Of milk.
Yeah, which means it's a 1-to-1 ratio of coffee to milk. So we went some
So-
other places with this recipe.
So it's more like a type of cortado.
No, not even. That's
No,
just
no,
a-
no,
it's-
no. I'm
Well,
just,
you're not
no,
even.
if you go.
It's a really, 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 really strong cafe latte.
It's a heart attack of flavor.
Well,
Yeah,
let's call it
something
a
like
heart
that.
attack.
Yeah,
Yes.
something like that. Yeah. Okay.
Moving
In any
then to,
case.
obviously, let's go to our more gentler side, a cafe latte, which obviously means coffee flavored milk.
Yeah.
Cafe being coffee, latte being milk.
Now, do you also have fun when the client comes and they go, "Can I please have one latte?" And then I put the cup of milk on the table and they go, "So where's my coffee?" I said, "Oh, you want a cafe latte?"
You know what?
I thought you just asked me for a glass of milk.
I think the fact that I'm 24 years old and people can kind of see it means that I would just be an arrogant little ass if I did that. So I have to be very careful, and especially because I do have a joke-like
Personality.
kind of personality.
Yeah.
And because I like being sarcastic at times when it helps the conversation. So
Yes.
I could very easily get myself into trouble by doing something like this. But and we get 2 different kinds of people that order lattes. I wouldn't say drink lattes. People do order lattes.
Yeah.
Correct.
We have the people that go, add the whole espresso, and then drink it.
Yeah.
And I could have given them 120 mils of espresso, or I could have given them 6 mils of
any-
espresso. They
any
would have added
espresso.
all of it, and then afterwards just been like, it's either too weak or it's too strong.
Yeah, I don't like it. And then you're like, I know why.
And then we get those clients every now and often that orders a cafe latte in those words, and you can see them. They add a little bit,
Give it a stir.
taste.
Yes.
Add, taste, add, taste. Oh, that's too much. Can I have it just a few drops of more?
Top it up.
And
Yeah.
then, oh, that's perfect.
Exactly.
And they know what they want.
Flavoring the milk to their palate.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's how it's supposed to be. That's how a cafe latte is supposed to be. You have to add your espresso, get to the point where you're like, this is what I want. And that's it. And I think that's what people don't know about a cafe latte, mostly.
No, definitely.
So, and
Now, I know
yeah,
that we might sound like a bunch or three young, arrogant weirdos sitting and slurping coffee in a parking lot by saying, oh, what? So you're the people to put a standard on it now? Well, yes. Why? Because I kind of want there to be a standard to stop creating confusion for the poor guy behind the bar,
Yes.
trying to satisfy 100 people walking in 2 hours, asking for the most ridiculous things, and he can't really make it.
Well, also no, using 3 terms, but wanting 120 different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how am I supposed to read your mind, understand your palate, or find myself in your shoes, but you're using a specific word which is attached to a recipe?
Which I don't even know what your recipe means.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Compared to my recipe.
it's like the conversation we had with regards to strong and intense.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
Okay, what is strong to you?
Exactly. Like strong for me, ristretto, man.
Hmm.
Strong for you, maybe a cigarette.
Well, no. Strong for me, eating a coffee bean itself. But
Great.
good intense flavor. Interesting texture.
A bit of saliva mixed with
Yeah,
coffee.
you know.
A grounded or chewed grounded coffee bean.
Beautiful enzyme combination. And then going to a completely different direction, talking about flat whites.
Yes.
Very interesting, and I've found in the last year and a half that we are not creative in the naming in the
Yeah.
coffee world
Mm.
in any way, right? We're extremely,
Anyway.
extremely practical, and I think we'll have a really good conversation about the history of cappuccinos and flat whites and so on.
Correct.
But just as a gist of it, a flat white was created after a guy couldn't really find a flavor that he enjoyed in the recipes that were available in the shop that he was at. And after
According
playing
to the
around,
Italian standard.
yes, after playing around a little bit, the baristas finally created something using a double ristretto, and having the centimeter of foam on top was just too much of an imbalance of acidity to milk to give the client what they wanted. So they just topped it up to milk to the part, and all of you will have experienced this, where the foam is too much and starts to leak off. So they just scraped it off, which means the crema goes wet. So now it's little, so it's flat,
And
it
it's
was
white.
on top. Okay?
And that's why they kind of called it a flat white.
It's not a
Stands to
milky,
reason, right?
big
Yeah.
jug that you add 3 drops of espresso to and say, here's your flat white, sir. It's supposed to be an intense,
There goes the bluebird.
sweet and acidic. Well, that's a white bird.
Flat
You're
white.
on the wrong episode.
Well, you went over on the flat white, so that's fine.
Yeah, it was a
The
beautiful
white
timing.
bird on the bluebird
We are
coffee.
on
Point.
We are on point this evening, but
let's go.
But it's so true.
it's a sweet, intense, acidic, syrupy,
Yeah.
creamy coffee.
I like to explain the flat white as coffee with this really creamy mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Where compared to the cappuccino, it's this creamy coffee, juicy, milky, balanced beverage versus your coffee latte, which is milk, and I'll find some coffee in the back corners of my mouth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, not right nor wrong, but just completely different. Having a unique name that could be created consistently within 30 to 60 seconds, satisfying your needs quickly on the go if necessary.
Yeah.
So
True.
that just keeps it simple.
And it just helps us to kind of define the direction that we're going. I mean, if you have to take into account about why this information is important, and I believe that it is extremely important because
Definitely.
it is removing miscommunication
Yeah.
between clients and
Yes.
baristas. It's kind of creating a standard for what we define this drink as, so
Yes.
that, for example, you don't go to Lamborghini, say you want one, and when they give you the car, oh no, it doesn't have enough seats for my family, I want more seats.
Or why doesn't it have a Ferrari logo on it?
Yes, or yeah, you know what, I don't like the way the door swings.
Yeah. Like, you
If-
can't. They're just going to tell you go buy somewhere else.
Yeah.
If that's what you ask for, that's what they're going to give you
Yes.
according
Right.
to their standard.
That's
Yeah.
it.
So why allow, and we love our clients, but why allow the clients to set the standard?
Yeah.
We, in the coffee world, are the coffee professionals. We are the ones that need to create consistency, create flavor,
Yeah.
and satisfy palates.
Well, I don't walk up to my attorney and tell him how to do his job in court. I'll be losing a lot of money.
Taking into account that there are people that have done research, that have experimented, and we
Yeah.
learn from our clients as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Correct.
Even if that means I need to have 72 different recipes on my menu, each with a different name, each satisfying a different palate, I'll go that way. But if we have a term that moves in a specific direction that
Yeah.
looks like this, at this ratio, and this is what we want from that cup, that means that that's going to avoid unnecessary kind of unhappiness, unnecessary dissatisfaction.
And-
Instant
yeah.
value for money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because on both sides of the counter, they know what they want and what they supposed
Yeah, they speak
to.
the same language.
Yeah, the barista knows what he needs to make, and the client knows what he wants.
Yes.
So there's no, this is not right. That's not, and you don't have a dissatisfied customer.
Yes.
So
Or barista,
or barista,
for
yeah.
that matter.
Yeah.
Because he's the guy standing looking at you trying to be hard or just confusing, and there's 7 people behind you that know what they want.
Or a barista who's so passionate and connected with his coffee that you order a flat white. He runs it to a 1 to 1.5 ratio on 18 grams. He stops at 27.0, and we had a barista like this. And I'm not talking about myself. Who
Darn
had
it.
a thin layer of foam, and he
Perfect.
poured that 6-layer tulip on top.
Yes.
And then like, oh, can I have it in a bigger cup with more milk? Or they pull a perfect 1 to 1.5 ratio on a double ristretto. They pull a 1 to 1 ratio of coffee to milk, 0.0 accurate on the cortado. And then the client's like, oh no, can I have some more milk? And they top it up and they essentially make their own flat white. And the disappointment on the barista's face,
Yeah.
who has practiced enough to be able to be that precise on a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And now you're telling the painter, oh no, I don't like the nose.
Yeah, I don't like your Mona Lisa.
Yeah,
How about
then
I just take my
yeah.
Koki pen and fix
Yeah.
it?
Just change a bit on the Mona Lisa.
Yes. Can't do that.
Yeah. So, and I agree that we have to have a standard, especially from the coffee professional side, because in general it will have the people have less confusion about what they want to drink and what they want to order. So I think, and if somebody disagrees on our recipes and the standards that we want to try to set out there, give us a shout.
Yeah.
It's not like we are law.
No. Let's speak about it, and maybe we can get to a point where you come with a different recipe and we experiment with it.
Yeah.
And it's not like there's a you have to do this and that's it. And I think there's already a standard. I just think that everybody needs to get to a point where when you order something, that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the guy behind the bar knows what it is, and the guy that's paying for it knows what it is. So yeah, that's just from my side.
Yeah, I think on your statement, we're not trying to lay down the law.
No.
Our statement was, can we create a standard that we can all agree on?
Yeah.
Correct. Anywhere in the world,
Yes.
and everybody can get value, no matter where you're from or who you're speaking to.
Yeah.
Even if that means that we need to change our standard or our term for a recipe,
Yeah.
because that's easier, and that means I can satisfy a client's palate. Which
Yeah.
brings us to the second question: how does this make my coffee better? Well, the next time you order a flat white, you're not going to get a 750 ml cup of milk that is boiling and that
Yeah.
has 3 drops of coffee in it.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're actually going to taste coffee, what you were looking for in the
Yeah.
first place.
Or if you're a creamy coffee drinker, they're not going to add 6 shots in your 180 ml cup
Yeah.
and then add 2 drops of milk. You're going to find something that you enjoy.
Exactly.
And you're going to be able to give the barista the opportunity to consistently practice and become an artisan in his own field.
Yes.
And let's be honest, that's what we strive for. None of us
Right.
want to stay apprentices for the rest of our
No,
lives. We're going to get
definitely
to a
not.
point where we are so proud of the work that we do
Yeah.
that we can consistently set it out. You can tell a client, and maybe this is just me being as precise as I am or trying to be, But I want to be able to put 15 cups, and we've done this in tastings, where I was so proud that I'm able to put out 42 cups of cappuccinos that go out to that goes out to a coffee tasting that have the exact same amount of foam, and they all have 4-layer tulips on top that look very close to one another.
Correct.
Some variants.
Yeah.
Consistency in flavor, maybe not always on the eye, because it is hard trying to push out 42 cappuccinos while the people are all sitting at the tables outside. They need to be served at the same time.
Yes.
But at least every single person there could have gotten up, walked to someone else,
And got
taken
the
a
same.
sip from their cup, and would have tasted exactly the same.
Yeah.
And that consistency is important.
Which means it makes your coffee better, but it makes your experience better.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
Definitely.
And that's a conversation that we had this morning. A client that came to me said, listen, I was at these places, I had not necessarily, they had good coffee, but they didn't have a phenomenal experience. I've come back every day, I have the debit system that you use, and the 4 different people that have made me flat whites have all given me something that is close enough to one another. Taking into account that it's not perfect. I mean, even my shots are out by 0.3 and sometimes even 1.5 mils.
Yeah.
Depending on how the weather changes, how the calibration changes. And saying that your coffee sets me up for a successful day because they get the same thing and they get what they enjoy.
Yeah, and that's
Exactly.
And that's what we want to get at the end of the day. Is that if you walk up to somebody and you ask for something, that's what you when you go there, you know you're gonna get it. Doesn't matter who's behind the bar. It doesn't matter because they've set the standard of if I ask for a flat white, I'm gonna get a flat white, and that's what I'm gonna get, and that's the value that we are looking for.
Yeah.
If I go and I want a flat white, and I know I'm gonna get the flat white, even if it's 4, 5, 6, 7 different baristas, there's a standard of a recipe. I'm gonna get it.
Yes.
And that's what we want. That's what I think. That's where the applied knowledge of this info that we're giving you is that you can go out and you can ask somebody for a specific recipe coffee, like a cappuccino, and when you get there, you're gonna get a cappuccino, and the barista knows what a cappuccino is and how to make it, and both parties are satisfied.
Now, on the application of this, 2 things I can mention. We sit in barista competitions as judges, judging the baristas standing behind a table, trying to create something to, number 1, impress us, but number 2, score enough points that they've got the ability to win.
Yeah.
And if you as a barista competing tells me this is a cappuccino milk beverage that you've chosen to present to the judges, and you pour a 1-to-1 ratio in the cup, then it means
points.
I can judge it based on the fact that it needs to have balance between the coffee and the milk. Now, on a 1-to-1 between espresso and milk,
It's not gonna have
there
balance.
is no way in the world there's going to be balance, which means I have to take away all of your points.
Yes, unless you pulled some 41-second espresso at a 1 to 2.3 and you brought in enough bitterness to cancel out the acidity and the sourness, but you would have thrown away so much time in your competition, and still it wouldn't be a good tasting. Yes, you'd have a kind of balance, and we're not going to go into that now, but it's such a valid statement.
But it is a valid statement. Like, it needs to have consistency. If you say you're serving a cappuccino,
It needs to be
let's all agree on a ratio for a cappuccino that everybody knows what you mean. Because I'm supposed to judge you on that. And if I'm judging you based on my experience of a 1-to-1 ratio and you call it a cappuccino, I'm going to judge you wrong. Number 1. Number 2, on application. I think we've mentioned this before, where when Christian just got here, the consistency is to such a degree when you build that base of consistency that a client at the table goes, this coffee doesn't taste the same. And I call the barista out and I'm like, hey, what did you do to the cup? And because he was still learning, he over-tamped a bit because of his length, which is about head and shoulders above all the other baristas around. And so he applied slightly too much pressure. And immediately the client noticed it.
Yeah.
So we might think that this consistency of language and recipes don't matter. But the clients actually notices the difference.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're willing to pay for it. And other times
Remember,
they're not.
And also, especially if you focus on educating your clients and sharing a higher quality, better coffee with your clients.
Yeah.
Yes.
Education follows that, or that follows education, which means that
Yes.
your clients are paying more and more attention to what your coffee tastes
Yeah,
like.
definitely.
Exactly.
And they're gonna call you on your quality because they know what you can produce.
Yes.
And
Correct.
and when they don't get what you're supposed to produce, they're gonna call on you
and you know what? And that is
because of the knowledge and the education that you get.
And the relationship.
Yeah.
And when they do that, appreciate it, because
Yeah.
they could have said nothing.
Correct.
They cared enough to say something.
Yes.
And I think also, as just a last part of application, as a coffee professional, try to educate your clients, not because you know better, but because you actually want to satisfy their palate and you want to give them the knowledge that helps them to get to their perfect cup.
Yes,
That is
definitely.
really why we explain to our clients, listen, but why not order a cafe latte?
Yeah.
Order a latte so that you can create the flavor that you want. And some people don't want the education, and if that's what they choose, then they can keep adding the double espresso and then thinking, it's too strong. They added it themselves. But the clients who come back and say, listen, it was so perfect, now I know I'm only going to add 5 drops of espresso, and we have
That's
it,
what I like.
Yeah.
and we have clients like that.
Correct.
It's going to help you to just create an environment where your client knows they're going to get what they want.
Yeah.
Which means that you automatically going to do better as a business, as well as the fact that your barista is going to be more satisfied, you're going to be more satisfied,
Your
and your
clients.
clients are going to be more
Yeah.
satisfied.
Exactly.
Definitely.
So I think that kind of brings us to the end of this conversation.
Yeah,
We
right.
can go on about this for a really long time.
Because we've had a lot of experience in this. And it's
Yeah.
a lot of frustration through that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but yes, I think let's throw a challenge out to you guys. If you're out there and you feel that you agree with us, please let us know.
Yes.
Yes.
And if you feel that you don't agree with us,
Definitely let us know.
please let us know, because we
Yeah.
would love to, at the end of this day, try and create a consistent term
Yes.
Yeah.
internationally that everybody agrees to, keeps simplicity to the point that when I walk up to the bar and I ask for a flat white,
Yeah.
they don't give me a single shot cappuccino with a
Yeah.
really, really, really thin layer of foam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not exactly what I wanted. That's boring.
Yep.
Yes.
And so let's put it out there and eventually get the information on chain,
Yes.
which is what this whole TC coin thing is about,
Yeah.
is getting the information on chain that everybody in the world goes, it's not that we're going to disagree or agree, we're just going to say, let's keep it simple
Yeah.
Yeah.
internationally for our clients' sake.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, they're paying us for something.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And they want value from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They empower us to be able to do this.
Right.
Definitely.
And
Yeah.
they empower us to help feed the guys that grow this stuff that we love.
Yes.
And I think we'll end off our conversation, and I want to change our statement just for this episode.
Great.
So, when you go and especially as coffee professionals, may you go and create happiness in every single cup.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
that's awesome. Yeah, awesome.
Here we go. So we hope this was informative.
Yeah.
We hope you guys loved this. Please let us know what you think about it, and we will chat to you guys
On the next episode.
on the next episode.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.